Keith Lee has finally opened up on his release from WWE and reassured fans that he will bounce back from the setback. The effects of WWE's most recent batch of releases are still being felt this week. 18 superstars were released from their contracts on November 4th, with a few high-profile athletes being let go. Keith Lee was one of the stars who was surprisingly let go and finally released a statement following his unexpected release. Lee had a lot to say in his tweet, stating that, while times may be difficult right now, he has confidence in himself to create a better future. Greetings and salutations. This day is my birthday. It is not a happy birthday, but it is one I am most grateful for. Several months ago, it was not a guarantee I would make it to this day, so there is positivity in that. I paid all my medical bills from the many offices and machines I frequented. There is positivity in that, and I do find it amusing that people believe anyone but me paid for my medical expenses. I was going to wait a couple weeks, but I think it's time to look toward the future, forward march as I like to say. I am capable of so much more and I can't wait to see what it looks like properly. I have a wide array of interests and abilities. I also consider myself to be rather open-minded. Here's to a future that, for all intents and purposes, seems limitless, said Keith Lee. Lee also seems to have referenced the health issues he discussed a few months back, suggesting that he paid for all out-of-pocket expenses that came with his treatment and recovery. Last month, the former NXT champion took to social media to explain why he had been sidelined from WWE television for 7 months, saying that a combination of a COVID-19 diagnosis and the discovery of a heart inflammation had led to some very scary times. When Keith Lee's run in NXT ended, many fans had high expectations for him in the main roster. The Limitless One's larger-than-life presence and personality was a certified recipe for success on the main roster, or so many fans thought. In actuality, Lee spent very little time competing on WWE Raw, and when he did, the WWE Universe was baffled as to why the company had stripped away iconic pieces to his character, such as his theme song, ring gear, and even a change in his ring name. All of this, combined with poor booking, had reportedly made Lee profoundly frustrated with his direction in WWE, as reported by Wade Keller of PW Torch. While Keith Lee's next move is currently unknown, his fans predict a swift in-ring return for the former NXT champion as they feel he would be an asset to any promotion. WWE Raw superstar Finn Balor was not seen on tonight's episode of The Red Brand as he was busy entertaining fans on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. At a live event in Leeds, UK, Balor teased a match with Walter of NXT UK. It was recently revealed by WWE that the former NXT UK champion, who held the title for a record-breaking 870 days, will join main roster superstars for their European tour. In a photo uploaded by Twitter user HarlJohnny0, the Prince can be seen taunting Walter while the latter was making his way to the back following his match. While Finn Balor has crossed paths with Walter and Imperium in the past when the former returned to NXT for a brief period, the two superstars never got the opportunity to face each other in the ring. In early 2020, when it looked like that the fans would be treated to an epic showdown between the two European superstars at NXT UK TakeOver Dublin, the pay-per-view event was unfortunately cancelled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. However, Balor has made it clear in previous interviews that Walter is an opponent that he pretty much wants to face somewhere down the line. The ring general lost the NXT UK title to Ilya Dragunov a few months ago at TakeOver 36, but recently his comrades at Imperium Fabian Aichner and Marcel Barthel became the new NXT Tag Team Champions. If their interaction at the live event in Leeds was any indication, WWE might be planning to do a Finn Balor vs. Walter match in the future. Whether or not the company will deliver on that promise remains to be seen. Bayley has been out of action since July 2021 following a torn ACL at the WWE Performance Center. She was unfortunate to miss out on the return of crowds, but the former SmackDown Women's Champion will surely return better than ever. Bayley has been active on social media throughout this time, and she posted a photo on social media with WWE Hall of Famer Jimmy Hart at the Dallas Mavericks game. So what's the significance? Dallas happens to be the host city of WrestleMania 38, and that's exactly what Bayley and Hart were there for. WrestleMania 38 will be at the AT&T Stadium, 6 years after WWE first went there. WrestleMania 32 in 2016 was host to the highest attended event in WWE history, with the reported attendance crossing 100,000. Bayley was still an NXT superstar at the time, and was one of the most highly anticipated call-ups to the main roster. Bayley would debut on Raw over 4 months later, one night after SummerSlam 2016. Since then, she has had numerous WrestleMania appearances, successfully retaining the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championship in 2017 and 2020 respectively. For Bayley, 3 out of her 4 WrestleMania appearances were in title matches. One can only hope that Bayley will have fully recovered in time for WrestleMania 38. She would have to return by February or March 2022, meaning that there would be an 8 to 9 month gap between her injury and return. This is quite a common period for ACL injuries. However, WWE could also go along the route of keeping her off TV until post-WrestleMania. Bayley admitted to being frustrated from her omission on the WrestleMania 37 card despite being perfectly healthy. She said that she pitched multiple ideas for a match. but they were turned down. She turned out to be the unofficial host of WrestleMania, as her role was more popular than the official hosts Titus O'Neil and Hulk Hogan. Bayley will be looking to get back in time for another massive WrestleMania in Dallas. Former 11-time tag team champion King Woods has sent out a major message to Roman Reigns, following the latter's attack on him and Kofi Kingston on last week's SmackDown. Taking to his Twitter, King Woods shared a video of himself where he commented on Roman Reigns attacking him last week. The Universal Champion sent a warning to King Woods, saying, "If you show up next week, I'll show you what a real king looks like." Woods took some major shots on Roman Reigns and accepted his challenge as well. "There's two things I want to get off my chest. The first one, being about the Usos and the usurper Roman Reigns. Last Friday, what y'all did was completely unprofessional. So since we're clearly no longer acting as gentlemen in this situation, then it's time to get nasty. Because y'all tried to take Kofi out and you completely disrespected my crown. So Roman, I don't care that you are the self-proclaimed head of the table. I don't care how many times you've been a champion. I don't care how many times you've main event WrestleMania. I will be at SmackDown on Friday, and when I see you, it's your A," said King Woods. WWE has announced the first time ever one-on-one match between Roman Reigns and King Woods for this week's SmackDown. A unique stipulation has also been announced that the winner of this match will be the ruler of the blue brand. What that exactly means is not clear. At WWE Survivor Series 2021 later this month, Universal Champion Roman Reigns will face WWE Champion Big E. As for King Woods, he will be a part of Team SmackDown in the 5-on-5 elimination match against Team Raw. King Woods has also suggested a massive stipulation that WWE should add to the Survivor Series match to make it more interesting. WWE Hall of Famer Booker T wants to see a high-profile triple threat match between Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley. He thinks this bout could take place at WrestleMania next year. Reigns and Lesnar have faced each other a few times in WWE, but fans have not yet seen the latter and Lashley battle it out in the ring. The Tribal Chief and Bobby Lashley too have had a few matches, including one that happened on Raw earlier this year. While speaking on his Hall of Fame podcast, Booker T stated that there's a possibility of Lesnar and Lashley duking it out in the ring, even if there are plans for the Beast Incarnate to face Reigns at the Show of Shows next year. Just imagine, if Brock and Roman do go out there and do it, have a WrestleMania match, the person that comes out and spoils the whole party is Bobby Lashley. So, I'm thinking from a promoter's standpoint to where everything right now is so much more in place for it to work out as opposed to 4 years ago, with Roman, with Brock, with Bobby. The era of the big man is back. To have 3 giants, 3 monsters, 3 true heavyweights going for the heavyweight championship, that's money to be made anywhere in this business, said Booker T. Booker T said he was right about the formation of the Hurt Business, and that he's usually right with regard to such things. Roman Reigns defeated Brock Lesnar at the Crown Jewel pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia last month, retaining his Universal Championship, but the feud between the two is far from over. WWE is reportedly planning to run the match again at next year's WrestleMania, this time with Paul Heyman as the focal point of the feud. The storyline on where Paul Heyman stands also couldn't be resolved, as this is likely heading to WrestleMania, since right now there doesn't appear to be anything on the horizon bigger, said Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer newsletter. Brock Lesnar is currently suspended in storyline after assaulting WWE official Adam Pearce on SmackDown.